Alrighty, well, this will be my sixth episode listening to the dub, and so it's time to get into what I think about the dub. I'll be honest with you, that first episode was rough. Like, at the end of the first episode, I was like, I don't know if I can do this one. I gotten used to it a hell of a lot faster than I thought it would. But my impressions after the first episode was that it's just more dignified in Japanese. It's easy to take the show seriously in Japanese. And in English, it just felt 80s action movie, which is wild because like it came out in 2000. But it felt 80s action movie. It felt cheesy, way more juvenile than I was, because there's just a difference between you read the words, but I guess you're not hearing it in English. I don't know. Like it just, like, that's probably the best way to sum it up. It was very hard to take the show seriously in English, where I had no problem whatsoever taking the show seriously in Japanese. It was just more dignified in Japanese. So like, and it's not even about anybody's delivery. Something about hearing the kind of things they're talking about in English with some of their vocal choices, I guess that, like now hearing it in English, the characters actually feel 12 years old. Where in my head, maybe they just feel older because I'm not really hearing what they're saying. I'm reading what they're saying. It's almost like reading a book. When you read a book, you kind of have an idea in your head how old these characters are. I've heard this. Here's a good example. Harry Potter, for instance. When I'm reading the first Harry Potter book, I guess I'm not really thinking about them as 11-year-olds. Even though like the dialogue kind of makes it clear they're 11-year-olds. And of course, they tell us they're 11-year-olds. But still, not really thinking about that. They just feel more relatable because it's hard for me at my age to relate to an 11-year-old. They feel more relatable. So that's probably what was happening here too. Like they just feel, especially with anime, and you can't really tell visually how old these kids are. They just felt more relatable. But then in English, the delivery choices and the actual actors used, they sound more like what their age is than they did in Japanese to me. So these are all the issues I had, but then I realized, because I took a little nap from the last episode before this one, right? And I guess I literally slept on it. But when I got up, I was thinking about it. I was like, well, that stopped bothering me at some point. At some point in these last 5 episodes, I stopped thinking about that, and I just got used to it. A lot of it was just culture shock. Like you're experiencing something one way for 44 episodes, and now all of a sudden you're experiencing it a new way, right? So I don't, like I said before, I don't really care sub versus dub. I really don't. Like I don't. You'll never convince me the translation difference is that important. Because for me, I'm here for the characters. I'm not here for the precise. Like I'm not trying to learn how to do ninjutsu, so I don't need to know the precise magic. Like this is exactly the procedure used for this magical spell, or this is the exact technique. This is how specifically this technique is used against this person. I don't need to know all that. Like I'm not studying for a test. It's not going to be on my final exam. It's like watching Dr. House. You're not trying to memorize the medicine in Dr. House. You're in Dr. House for the stories of human characters. What these characters are going through, what the patient of the week is going through, solving the detective case of the week as far as the body goes. Like 2 episodes later, you're not thinking about like, wait a minute, was that medicine correct? Or you're like, wait a minute, this medicine that we learned here is going to be important here, right? You're watching Dr. House for the characters. That's what you care about. All the exposition about the medicine is just a way to make the world feel real, and to piss off real doctors who are watching it, because apparently the medicine's never actually quite right on that show. So that's the same thing here. We're here for the characters. We want to know what the characters are going through, their journeys, what they're feeling emotion wise. The magic they're using is just a device to tell the story. It's how they're telling the story. It's what the characters are going through to get to where they are. It's about standing up for yourself, even if you lose. And you can be standing up for yourself even if you lose, whether we're using magic, we're using sticks, it's an arithmetic problem, like it's medicine. It doesn't matter specifically what you're doing. What matters is whether or not the character can stand up for themselves, and whether or not they can express themselves, and whether or not they can overcome their past or succumb to their past. Like these are the things that matter, right? So to me, specifically, hearing the correct dialogue, this version of dialogue versus that version of dialogue, isn't going to change the emotional journey of a character, because that's what I care about. But since it doesn't matter, and since most people want me to do the dub, that's why I switched to the dub. But I thought it was gonna be off putting. I might even have to switch back if I was so distracted by this new audio experience that I couldn't enjoy the character journey, which is what I'm here for. I'm here for the characters. But what's happened was over the past 5 episodes, I stopped thinking about that and just started again enjoying the character journey. So yeah, I'm going to stick with it unless, like I said before, if I hear feedback where people are just so distracted or so put off by the captions, the subtitles, then I'll switch back. But for me, it doesn't matter to me either way. So I'm going to do this unless there's enough uproar for me to go the other way. All right. Having said that, this is episode 50, and one of the reasons I did a longer intro for this one is there won't be a character wheel at the end of this episode because we haven't really had much with our characters this week. It's been a lot of the side characters and stuff. So we're seeing the final fights, and I'm assuming that trend to continue for this episode. So most likely we're going to not do the character wheel this week and see what happens next week. Alrighty. We're just after the theme song. We're going on one. This is episode 50. 3, 2, 1. He would probably get a character wheel just based on his action this week. He's had other stuff, cool stuff he's done before this week. But again, I want to see him in a new arc to prove to myself that he's going to stick around before I do that. Yep, I managed to avoid this title. Excellent. Because I find in anime titles are typically spoilers. Red, huh? That looks green to me. Maybe it's the surrounding color is red. That's right. Oh, he's going to open them all. Okay. You're getting kind of loud here, Chef. In that case, I still wonder if the translation thing for the word genius is what we think of that word. That's right, knock him out. I think in their case, what I'm getting from context is extremely skilled in that one specific thing. Once again, maybe this is really you this time. You can be right, yeah. He's too fast for you, buddy. All that shit you were talking, all this build up, and now you're cracking like sand. That's right. Get his ass. I love what they're doing with the art here with this character. That's right. Back and forth. You just got knocked the F out. All that arrogance for this. That's what it brought you. You didn't even make it to the third round. Pathetic. There's a lot of underdog aspect to this. That's where the pattern comes in, I think. Of course, there's going to be a cost there. He probably won't be able to continue. See, I can see doing this if it's a life or death battle. You're just trying to make it to the third round. Why would you sacrifice your body for that purpose, right? You better give up. You better submit. If you survive. That's right. Like I said, the stakes are so low for him to do this, it's foolish. But, I don't mind because this dude was so smug, I was tired of him. All that arrogance, all that smugness, and he didn't even make it to the third round. Yeah, you don't say. Finish him. He better give up real fast. Nope. This is the last fight, right? Because this whole place is trashed. That's right. Smoked. He broke his little sand gourd. Oh, more than broke it. Literally turned it into sand. Well, three-quarters of our crew is in the hospital, so we can't have a third round. Sorry. Even the winners are in the hospital, right? That dog is probably still knocked out. No more than you deserve. All that shit you're talking. Are you giving up or not? Oh, I see. Okay. So it's not as bad as I thought. He's still fighting, huh? Gotta admit, his tenacity is pretty interesting too. He still ain't giving up after that ass kicking he just received. What's that? Oh, right. We've seen your moves before. That is more than I expected. That's for sure. Well, shit. I didn't see that coming. I thought it was over, man. I guess it's never over till it's over, right? I think they're trying to provoke him to access all the gates, right? If he's out, that's it, right? Hey, ref. Oh, so you're actually kill this dude. Ref, you getting in on this? That's what I thought. Well, it's his sensei, but still. Get that shit out of my face. There's a bunch of sore winners in this preliminary exam. Like, dude, you had won. You're sitting there trying to kill him. Oh, okay. So if he loses, that means he's worthless. He should die. I see your point of view. I like this kid. I wouldn't try to explain myself to a sociopath. Just take him and go. Really didn't see that coming. I didn't see it playing out this way. This is interesting. That's what I'm saying. Don't bother explaining yourself to a sociopath, man. Guess he's out of here. Really? Quit. Right. Right, exactly. So don't you want to be promoted? What's up with you, dude? Eat my ass, apparently. Get back here, you little bitch. But it's too late, though. He intervened, man. I don't know how you would continue. Like, he intervened. He had been killed by that killing stroke. Let's go, kid. You're out of here. Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games until you turn your kid into a zombie. He was unconscious. Okay, that's pretty interesting. It's almost like sleepwalking, right? Think we can go to the ER? I mean, which also means like he's too unconscious to have heard the sentiment expressed and to receive this hug right now. He'll wake up and he ain't gonna remember none of this shit. Too late, I quit. See, again, like, I got caught up myself. It's about the emotion and the characters. It's not about the rules of the tournament, right? I'm talking about, like, he intervened. He can't intervene. It's not about the rules. The fact that since they came and intervened, it's not about the rules. It's about what that means to the characters that he did that, right? That's what matters. Because, yeah, he lost, but, like, but actually, nerd rule guy, right? Should shut the hell up. Yeah, really. You're still talking shit, huh? See, that's the one part I don't like about some of these bad guys. They have, they're sore winners. They have no respect for their opponent. If I beat somebody and they almost beat me in the process of me beating them, I'm going to give them respect. It's like, wow, that's really impressive, man. Good job, right? I respect that. These arrogant a-holes, they don't feel that way. Yep. They're the type of asshole. It's like if you win, it's because you cheated. If you lose, that means you suck. You completely suck. There's no respect ever granted. I just can't stand that kind of person. Some opponents don't deserve respect, but they have to earn that lack of respect, right? For the most part, they should start with the base level of respect. And that's why I hate a lot of these, we won't necessarily call them bad guys, but a lot of the adversaries. Like the one that, like this dude right here, that asshole. They don't respect their opponent. Oh, don't tell me he's dead, man. They wouldn't be talking about careful if he was dead. So I guess he's not dead. Okay, that's good news. Yeah, kind of foolish to do this during a preliminary round of an exam. Can you tell me this on the way to the hospital? Oh, right, right. Yeah, that asshole. Yeah, right. Oh, shit. He could be a teacher, I guess, right? I'm assuming you can. Like, because you basically just got to walk him through the techniques. You may not, even if you can't demonstrate everything, he can still contribute a lot being a teacher. I'm getting this jump. So, like I said, like he sacrifices this much, and they still won't give him the respect. Oh, that loser, that whole attitude is just really grates on my nerves. And they're written out. I'm not saying it's bad writing. There's people like that out there, of course. And some of it's also cultural. There's a higher price to pay if you fail at anything ever in your entire life in Japanese culture, at least as portrayed in anime, right? Where in America, like I said, you can fail the bar exam 3 times, take it the fourth time, and nobody's like, "Oh, you loser." No, they just know you passed the bar exam. They don't care that you lost it 3 times. That wouldn't play out that way over there. Yeah, we agree on that. We're on the same page there. Agreed. It was a preliminary exam. This is foolish. Oh, I see what they might be doing here. This could be a scenario where like the football player is like paralyzed on the field, and then a year later you see him walking, where the doctors tell him he'll never walk again. It could be a situation like that. Get off me. I kind of agree with his attitude though. You want to. A lot of people are told they can never walk again, and they put in so much work in rehab. They do, right? So you don't want to like kill that. There is a lesson we learned here too. He's right about that. It shouldn't have been this important to him. How would you know that? There is a certain warrior culture here, of course. That's the thing to remember. Well, I was talking about the brainwashing earlier, right? They're all a victim of that warrior culture, so that's why they see things the way they do. So there is that. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from, right? It's gonna be a shallow victory if you have to kill yourself to kill your opponent. He still rocked your world. I really don't like that dude. Like I said, warrior culture, brainwashing. Yeah, you look directly at you. You saw that. The room is trashed. They can't start the next match in this room. So is there one more match? I lost track. Okay, one more. Oh, right, that's right. The dude who eats a lot, right? He's one of them. And this guy. You're about to get stomped out. Yeah, you better not with eyes like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, while you're thinking all this shit, like you better win this fight first. Cool story, bro. I got a bad feeling about Barbecue Boy. But that'll be next time, right? Right? Yeah. That's the thing. It's like I always criticize like Sliders and Stargate SG-1. They go to a new culture, immediately try to impose their Western values on this new culture. They've been on this planet for 5 minutes talking about, hey, you shouldn't do things this way. You got to do it our way because our way is the best way, right? I think that that's a writing thing that's also gone out of style, right? But that whole attitude, the arrogance of we know what's best for you when we've been here 5 minutes, we don't even fully understand the situation. This is a different world. Like they grew up in a different thing. Like what I forgot to go into when I was talking about the child soldier thing a couple episodes ago was I don't really fully grasp the political situation, but I assume that these weapons are necessary to keep the peace. It's like a mutually assured destruction thing. It's like the like if everybody has nuclear weapons, nobody will get invaded and destroyed, right? Everybody, each village or each nation, state, or whatever has these weapons at their disposal. So you have a tie right now. You basically you have a neutrality imposed by the fact that your people and their people basically will fight to a tie, essentially. So if you never develop any of these weapons, you're going to be overrun because everybody else will have these weapons. They'll come in, they'll roll over you, and you're gone. So you have to do this, right? Politically speaking, because war is just an extension of politics. So that's the part that like you don't necessarily take into account when you're talking about like this is a brutal system and they should stop, right? In fact, this whole tournament is all about showing off your magic versus other people's magic. So when I'm sitting here talking about how this is just a preliminary round and you shouldn't give up everything you have and risk your life to win a preliminary match that's not even the third round, what I'm not taking into account when I say that is the fact that this is a demonstration, it's a weapons test. It's a demonstration. Hey, everybody, here's what we got. Here's the kind of people we produce. You better not come over here trying to take us over. That has a larger purpose than just winning a round and advancing and getting a promotion, right? You have to factor in all this stuff, right? And I have to remind myself of that. Even as a writer, you try to keep that in mind, but every now and then I forget it. So like it took me reflecting on it to think about this is what's happening here is actually more important than just a couple kids getting to the next round of a tournament, right? This is a Cold War being fought right in front of our eyes. So that's the thing to keep in mind. Like I said, there won't be a character wheel this week, but like assuming any of our characters do anything next week, we'll go back to that then.